Hello, everyone. My name is James Francis, and I'm coming to you from the New Mexico State University recording studio. And I wanted to take this opportunity to give you an overview and somewhat a brief summary of the presentation that I was able to take down to main campus last year in February for the Research and Creativity Week. I'm trying to do this on the cloud, so let me see if I can get it going. Let me skip forward. So, my name is James Francis, and I'm from the Pueblo of Acoma. I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in counseling and community psychology. At the time that I made this presentation, I was in the process of attaining my associate's degree, which I'm happy to let everyone know that I was able to do this past fall in 2024. With this education that I'm pursuing, I hope to use it to be able to become a substance abuse counselor and to take the knowledge that I'm learning here back to my community and back to others who are searching for that path of sobriety once again. I myself am an individual in active recovery from addiction as well. As of November 17th of 2024, I have 3 years of ongoing sobriety. So my overall goal, I'm in recovery for 3 years. Let me go back to the front to the other. So the name of my presentation that I did was called Health and Healing, Wellbriety in Our Community. And one of the programs that I am working in my recovery is called the Wellbriety program. The title of my presentation incorporates the Wellbriety name within it. And one of the first questions that is often asked when I talk to others about the program that I'm working in my sobriety is what's Wellbriety? Wellbriety is a 12-step recovery program that is very, very similar to the Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous programs out there, in that the 12 steps and the traditions are based around Native American values and beliefs. Um, Throughout my struggle with addiction, I had tried many ways to get sober and stay sober. And finally, when I found the Wellbriety program, something about it was able to finally make that last click or that light bulb go off in my head. And, ever since that I found this program, it's played a big, big part in my recovery. I don't think that I'd be able to be sitting here in front of everyone today doing the things that I'm doing if I had not found the Wellbriety program. And ever since finding the Wellbriety program, it has been my goal to take the message of hope and healing to others out there and, show them the way that I was shown and give them the help that I was given when I was lost in my addiction. The Wellbriety, also known as the Red Road Journey, is a 12-step recovery program that interprets the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and bases them around Native American cultural values and beliefs. The term Wellbriety also means to be both sober and well, a human being living in balance as our Creator intended. A person who seeks to attain balance and well-briety in their life is said to be walking the red road. And as I said, as a person in active recovery, I've been walking this red road for the past 3 years now. And it's been over these 3 years that I've come to realize that I can only keep what I have in terms of my sobriety by giving it away and showing others, what it was that helped me and how I got to where I'm standing now. And basically, this is the 12th step in all the Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Wellbriety programs, is that service to others. So now that I've come this far along, I am motivated by this desire to serve others and to help them along in the ways. Unfortunately, hundreds of years have been have have been spent trying to disconnect us Native Americans from our knowledge and beliefs, our cultural values. They try to eradicate our traditional religions, our traditional beliefs by sending us to boarding schools, by punishing us when the early colonizers came into New Mexico for practicing our traditional practices. Um, it is this pernicious practice that has left many generations confused and lost without any kind of direction. You know, it's this disconnection from understanding who we are as Native American people and personal identity that leaves many of the young people today lost and without guidance. And unfortunately, this feeling of um, this lack of self identity is what I feel leads a lot of the younger individuals into, um, getting caught up in alcoholism, getting caught up in substance abuse and addiction. It's because we have kind of drawn away from those practices that we were raised up in, all that good advice that was given to us by our grandparents, by our parents about the proper way to live. And it is this lack of guidance and direction that, I'm hoping by teaching others about the Wellbriety traditions and values that, I can help them to start reconnecting to these good virtues that, we should all strive to live by in our lives. I know that in my addiction, my personal story, when I picked up the drugs and the alcohol, I sat down and I left behind all those cultural values, all that good advice, and all those good beliefs, that, guided our ancestors before us. And it wasn't until I was introduced and found the Wellbriety program once again that I was able to reconnect and, once again, um, reacquaint myself with my spirituality and my higher power. It was through Wellbriety that I was able to regain a sense of who I was. And most importantly, I picked back up all those traditional values and beliefs that, I was taught growing up as a young adult. Um, so, a lot of times, well, even myself, people question, so what does all this mean for the individual who struggles to find a sense of identity due to lack of a connection and knowledge and cultural heritage, a lack of knowledge to their cultural beliefs and values, what the Wellbriety program stresses is that this ain't about going back and living in the past, but it's about going back and looking back and reconnecting to how our ancestors used to think and conduct themselves. And, it gives us that ability and that guidance to relearn all these values and beliefs and taking these good virtues and that good advice, these good teachings, and applying them in our everyday lives. So that way, not only can we overcome addiction and substance abuse, but, when we live these values, when we walk our talk, um, I found for myself that my life has become so much better and so much easier um, from what it used to be. When I used to be caught up in that storm of addiction. So it means to me to also to teach others and to give them that choice, that knowledge of that choice, to understand that it means that nowadays, we have to make a choice to seek out this good wisdom, to seek out these good advice, these good virtues of our elders. And Wellbriety is founded on the recognition that we cannot bring one part of our lives under control while other parts are still out of control. It's a holistic practice in that it calls in the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional. And the program looks to help you to put all those things into balance. And when you have all four aspects of your life in balance, you live a good life. Your life is smooth. Is There's no struggles. Um, Growing up, I was taught that our people survived from time immemorial because they knew about living in harmony. Um, they knew about living in harmony with our Mother Earth. They knew that the Mother Earth was sacred and that all things that she provided for us were to be held in respect and to be used in the proper way. The thing that struck me immediately about the Wellbriety program when I first walked into that room on November 17th, 2021, was that the program talks about four laws. The four laws of the Wellbriety movement state that one, changes from within. And what that means to me is that every individual has to make that honest commitment to wanting to better themselves, to better their lives, and to put themselves in balance and to set all those bad things down and leave them behind. And two, the second law states that in order for development to occur, it must be preceded by a vision. Now, what that means to me is that whatever I see in my mind in terms of me wanting to be well again, in terms of me wanting to be living a happy life, I see all the things necessary that I have to do on a day to day basis in order to achieve that happiness once again in my life. It means that I have to really sit down and introspectively look at myself and analyze all the good things that I have in my life and all the things that seem to be bringing me strife. And I have to make that decision, what I have to keep and what I have to let go. The third law states that a great learning must occur. That great learning comes when we walk into these rooms of Wellbriety, of Alcoholics Anonymous, of Narcotics Anonymous, of any kind of group therapy session, where people who have the same types of struggles come together to share their stories of hope and recovery. And, when you come into these rooms, you pick up all these good things, all this good advice from people who have gone before you and found that path of Wellbriety and healing again. And that's how it works for me. Every day, every time that I walk into a meeting, I walk in there with an open mind, an honest heart, and a willingness to learn and to use these things as it stated earlier to apply all these good virtues in our life and to walk them. And the fourth law states that we must create a healing forest. When I first started, um, when I first entered and started participating in the Wellbriety program, I really didn't have a clear understanding of what this meant. I was thinking to myself, healing forest, healing forest. But what that means is that the healing forest is our people, our communities. At one point, I myself was a sick individual. I was a sick tree because of what I was doing to myself through my addiction, through my substance abuse. But now that I've been able to make myself well again, I have to take this knowledge that I have and continue to educate not only those people that are looking to find sobriety for themselves once again, but to actually take the time and use it to educate the youth that come behind us, and show them that this is not the path to walk. And we create that healing forest by breaking these vicious cycles that our communities all across America, all across the whole world have been stuck in. And so that's my basic motivation of why I return back to school. Um, and that's my basic motivation for how I push myself every day, because I know that what I'm working for is something greater than just myself. I want to be able to do something to help others, and it feels very, very good when you have that ability to see others, who were once stuck in that rut or lost, and to help them find that direction once again of health and healing. The Wellbriety movement believes that true Wellbriety occurs in the context of community. And this is what the healing forest is all about. That's what that analogy means. Wellbriety stresses that the individual, the family, and the community are not separated, but they are all interconnected. And that goes back to that, to the saying, the honor of one is the honor of all. The hurt of one is the hurt of all. So when I decided to take this presentation down to Las Cruces. I received an email in October through my school email, and it was calling for abstracts. And the abstract was asking, what type of education are you pursuing, and what type of extracurricular activities outside of the academic setting are you pursuing or doing that ties into your education that you're pursuing right now at this time? And I let them know that 3 times out of the week, I'm volunteering my time to host meetings, to open those doors, and to help other individuals. And I've seen a lot of people come in to those doors and get themselves well again, and it makes me very happy. So at this time, I'm continuing to do what I have to do in terms of pursuing my education, in terms of continuing to open up those doors and host those meetings, and just continue to follow those four laws, and to continue to pursue what it states. So I'll give you a brief overview of what my slideshow is all about. And that's me right there. We got to go down to the Red Road Conference. The next one is going to show what Wellbriety is all about. And like I said, Wellbriety is to be both sober and well, a balanced individual strongly connected to the principles, laws, and values of the universe. Someone who is walking that red road of Wellbriety and following all those things that we have to do in our lives to, walk and present yourself to others and yourself and your creator in a respectful manner. This is how the 12 steps are placed in the Wellbriety program. And it says that face the east, find the creator. And step one, honesty. We admitted we're powerless over alcohol, that we had lost control of our lives. Step two, hope. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could help us regain control. Step three, faith. We made a decision to ask for help from a higher power and others who understand. Face the south, finding ourselves. Courage. We stopped and thought about our strengths and weaknesses and thought about ourselves. Step five, integrity. We admitted to the Great Spirit, to ourselves, and to another human being the things we thought were wrong with ourselves. Step six, willingness. We are ready with the help of the Great Spirit to change. Face the West, finding our relatives. Step seven, humility. We humbly ask a higher power and our friends to help us to change. Step eight, forgiveness. We made a list of people who are hurt by our drinking and using and want to make up for these hurts. Step nine, justice. We are making up to those people whenever we can, except when to do so will hurt them more. Face the north, finding our elders' wisdom. Step 10, perseverance. We continue to think about our strengths and weaknesses, and when we are wrong, we say so. Step 11, spiritual awareness. We pray and think about ourselves, praying only for the strength to do what is right. Step 12, service. We try to help other alcoholics and other addicts and to practice all these principles in everything we do. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that all these things that the steps align with humility, forgiveness, justice, honesty, those are those very pieces of good advice that we were raised up to live our lives by our elders, respect others the way you want to be respected is something that my great grandmother always told me, and that I always remember, when I live my life. And I try to abide by that rule as much as I can in my life. These are the Wellbriety staffs, and the Wellbriety movement is a big movement, and it continues to grow. These staffs are from other groups all across the country, and this is from a conference that I was able to attend in Albuquerque in May. And you will be amazed at how big these conferences are and how many people attend. And that's not even including the people that weren't able to make it there. But some of the values and the beliefs of the Wellbriety is that the red road to Wellbriety is a journey of hope and healing for Native Americans seeking recovery. Wellbriety is founded on the recognition that we cannot bring one part of our lives under control while other parts are still out of control. True Wellbriety occurs in the context of community. The Wellbriety path does not compete with AA or any other pathways of personal recovery, but instead enriches those pathways by embracing them within the web of Native American tribal histories and cultures. So this is what I want to do, and this is what my presentation was all about. And I was honored to be able to go down there and to give a brief summary of what I'm doing in order to help my community and why I'm doing what I'm doing in terms of pursuing my education, as I stated before. And I want to educate my community and others as to what the Wellbriety movement is all about. It's not about going back and living in teepees, but it's about looking back to reconnect with how our ancestors used to think and conduct themselves and learning how to think like that in the world in which we now live, a world of technology, of contemporary lifestyles. And that's what I tell some of the younger people that come to me sometimes is that, we live in a fast paced world and sometimes we need to take that time to just slow down because we allow ourselves to get overwhelmed by how fast, this modern world moves. This is a picture of some of the members from my community, that have joined our Wellbriety program. It's also known as the Rough Cuts and the Rough Cuts Wellbriety program. And, we come together one or two times throughout the year to host meetings that are open to the community. And this is the chance that we take to tell our stories to whoever wants to come and hear them about how we were able to heal ourselves and recover through not only the Wellbriety program, but that fellowship and that family that we find when we go into those rooms and find like-minded individuals. These are the four laws that I went over earlier. And this is the Rough Cuts Wellbriety. And this was down in Phoenix, Arizona, when we got to see the Sacred Hoop. Um, our group is relatively new to the movement. I mean, the Rough Cuts has been going on for close to, I want to say, 7 years now, but we've actually been recognized by the White Bison organization as a meeting. So we're listed on the webpage as an actual meeting, and people that want to find a meeting can zoom in and participate in our meetings on a weekly basis. Um, as I stated, our group is new to the movement, but we are trying to share what it promotes within our community in the hopes that it will continue to grow and spread the message of recovery and healing to those searching for help and a way to Wellbriety. A big part of the Wellbriety movement talks about the healing forest. Now, when we learn these principles, these values, these laws, and these visions, that means that we're taking all these good things and we're putting it into the soil of our community. And in that soil, we plant the truth, the humility, the bravery, the honesty that each of us should strive to live by, the wisdom of our elders, the respect for each other, the love for each other, and the love for ourselves. And when we have that ability to learn these things and apply them in our lives, then the trees, which is our family members, our friends, our whole community, they grow stronger. So that way we have strong families, we have strong warriors, we have strong children, we have sober leaders, we have healthy women and our traditions that hold us together and healthy relationships, they continue to be strengthened by practicing these things the best we can in our lives. The mission within the Wellbriety book states that here the destruction stops. We will heal ourselves and we will heal our wounded relationships. We will heal our children. We will heal our nation. And on this day, our future history begins. And by me taking this step to do what I can to better myself and to use this knowledge that I'm gaining through education, this is that chance that I'm taking to break this cycle. And I see a lot of good things coming in the future because we have this ability to use technology in a good way to spread this message to a wider audience, if we use it in the proper way. These are some of the references that I use throughout my slideshow. The Red Road to Wellbriety in the Native American Way. It was founded by Mr. Don Coyes, who I got to meet personally at one of the meetings too. And he continues to host conferences throughout America. And but basically that's what I'm doing these days. I want to continue to use my education and to use the resources here at the New Mexico State University to further my studies on addiction and the methods and the types of strategies, newer strategies that can be employed or improved in order to help other individuals, overcome that addiction. And it's slow work, and sometimes it's very tedious because of the nature of the addict mind. But that's basically an overview of the presentation that I was able to do. This is my contact information if you have any questions. Um, and I'm happy to, share what I can with you on the recovery meeting. But right now, at this time, I just like to thank you guys for taking the time to listen to these words and to what I'm doing in my life, and how I'm pursuing my education, and what I'm doing and why I'm pursuing the education that I'm doing.